Bartlett's Familiar Quotations put out a new edition this year, the first time in a decade. Some are in it for the first time, like Steve Jobs, Jon Stewart, and Barack Obama, and plenty more. We spoke with a man responsible for collecting the world's most memorable lines.
Ask not
They range from the epic
what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
to the outrageous.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Some are better sung. Others can hardly be read. They are the phrases that define our world, all found side by side in one place.
Irony,
Bartlett's Familiar Quotations. If you want a snapshot of who we are and why, this is where to look.
A always be B, C closing. Always be closing.
The collection of quotes was first published by bookseller John Bartlett in 1855 as a way to keep notable passages all in one place. It was then 258 pages long.
Obviously, his original edition was dominated by the Bible, by Shakespeare. That is what has expanded tremendously. The complete works of Elizabeth Jordan. Jeffrey O'Brien is the general editor of the just-released 18th edition of Bartlett's, now a massive 1,400 pages plus. He spent 6 years digesting new material, debating the old, and ultimately deciding who would make the cut.
How do you decide what goes in?
It is a judgment call. That's what makes it different from just Googling something and coming up with, 100 different fragments that are unrelated.
The latest edition contains 20,000 quotes, 2,500 of them new. Among them, more women, more international voices, and much more media. Television shows, events, and interviews.
And I didn't like it, and didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
You live so fast and die
Music.
so young, so don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm the king of the world!
And film.
The lines that people recognize
I'm looking for my wife.
that become the basis for conversations. This is the process by which quotes become familiar.
You had me at hello.
Quotes also become familiar through crisis.
The number of casualties will be more than any of us can bear, ultimately.
9/11 has a heavy presence in the latest edition of Bartlett's, with words from allies as well as enemies.
Stalin is in there, Hitler is in there. It's not simply about words of uplift and words to live by. It's also the things that may have had a terrible influence.
I will command as best I can.
Or just an unexpected one, like these 3 words from South Park.
They killed Kenny.
They killed Kenny! They killed Kenny!
They killed Kenny.
Yes.
What's the reasoning there?
Well, actually, one of my colleagues insisted on that.
Yes! Yes! Oh.
In Bartlett's, it can be said, all that counts
I'll have what she's having.
is all that matters.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
As long as it's familiar and unforgettable.
Good night and good luck.
Great job with that,
Sorry
Jeff.
to geek out here this morning, but I just love it. I could read this book all day long.
I think you did a great job with the piece. What's your favorite quote?
The David Foster Wallace quote at the beginning of the piece about irony was my favorite, but I also love this Randy Pausch quote. You get people to help you by telling the truth, being earnest. I'll take an earnest person over a hip person every day because hip is short-term, earnest is long-term.
It's a great quote for our time. Mine is Winston Churchill. Never give in, never give in, never, never, never.
Excellent.